Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is TamezTech and welcome to a new video. Today we are going to be checking out a team that actually helped me climb back up to the 2400s. We actually ran a duo stream on Friday and I was kind of trying, a bunch of different meme teams, and it cost us quite a bit. We dropped from 2331 all the way down to 2100, I believe. So we dropped quite a bit of elo, but in the next 2 days I was able to climb a little more at the end of Friday and climb all the way back up to the 2400s yesterday on Sunday. So let's get right into these battles and see what we got. We actually got a really crazy win streak. We were running DEDENNE, as you can see. Cradley in the safe swap is just incredibly powerful in this meta, and we got Firo in the backline for sweeping. So on to the first game, we have Crustle lead. This is kind of a positive lead, really, because we outpaced to the parabolic, and Fury Cutter is resisted here, so not much fast move pressure from this Pokemon. Rock Ricker is going to hurt, but they are staying in this matchup, which isn't super positive for them, so I'm going to stay in here as well. I don't want to give up shields if I don't have to yet, and this meta does have a lot of one-shot potential. They come in with Empoleon, and thankfully we're able to get to another parabolic charge thanks to that overfarm we did against the Crustle with the resisted and buffed Fury Cutters, right? So now we can bring in Firo. We should be able to one-shot with a Drill Run. I should have thrown right away there just to force their shield before they force mine. So a little bit of a misplay there, but we are able to overfarm quite severely. Throw the Drill Run, just make sure we get rid of this Empoleon, and there's a Charizard in the back. This is a little bit tricky, right? I figured I would survive an Air Cutter, but I didn't really take into account all those Dragon Breaths that would put me down into Air Cutter range. So now we don't survive. At this point, I have to hope my Cradley can survive a Shadow Blast Burn from a Shadow Charizard. And we barely do, just enough to get to that Rock Tomb and just one-shot this Charizard. So a little bit of a tricky first game there, but we are able to take that game. Let's head into the next one. Let's see what we got here. We got Quagsire lead. Really terrible lead for us, but we do kind of have two answers to this. It looks like my opponent wants to chip and dip, so if they want to Stone Edge and dip, be my guest. If this Quagsire has no energy, that's better for me. They do one mud shot and then swap it to a Furret, so Furret really isn't an answer to Cradley like by any means. I'm gonna throw this Grass Knot just to guarantee the knockout. But my opponent actually shields there, so I guess I should have Rock Tombed. They still have to throw energy regardless because of the debuff, so that's good on us. They are back at neutral power, I guess, since they Trailblaze, and we only got one debuff off. But I believe we can tank two Swifts here and farm up to the back-to-back parabolics. So let's see what we can do here. We farm up to the back-to-back, we throw one, and we're probably just going to bank the second, right? Bring in Firo, get a bit of an energy lead, and they have their own Firo in the back. They did let us get two pegs before they swapped out, so that's really good for us, because at this point we know that since they didn't shield their Firo, we can farm this thing all the way down before they get a second move. And now that Quagsire is just going to have a lot of work to do and not enough energy to do it. We can easily just shield the shield the Firo. The Quagsire isn't throwing their energy yet, so that's a little tragic for them. And at this point, I think they're in parabolic range, so I don't even have to shield this. I don't want to risk a one-turn lag costing me the game, even when I have a shield or not or whatever, so I'm just going to let DEDENNE take the game there. DEDENNE is a Quagsire counter confirmed. It is not, however, a Gastrodon counter. We actually mistakenly do a Thunder Shock there. I think I was talking with chat or something like that. But yeah, we actually take a Mud Slap, so that's not great. My opponent brings in Buzzwole, which is an insanely based pick. That is such a cool Pokemon to see. They lunge and they get the farm down, which isn't great. But thanks to that debuff, I'm pretty sure I can tank two moves from this Buzzwole, right? Yeah, they really won't do too much damage. I don't really want to take the second one though, just want to keep a little bit of health on my DEDENNE if I need it. We almost have a Play Rough, but they have a Macargo in the back, and now that they're down shields, and we have a Firo with an energy advantage, I mean, this game is practically over, right? I should always get to a Play Rough with my DEDENNE, which should put the Gastrodon into Drill Peck range guaranteed. So we can play to the Captai here, which is a really important thing to note there. We throw 5 in the move, which would be alignment, but we know the Magcargo has a move, so if we throw it at the same time, we win Captai. Now I'm gonna bank a move with my Fearow, because I know I win Captai against Gastrodon. I'm gonna bring in my Dedenne just to get the play rough off, and now once again we win the Captai. Fearow has an insanely high attack stat, so there's very few things in the meta that can actually beat a Captai against Fearow. Amazingly, in the next match, Gyarados does not want to see us. As you can see, I make a really grave mistake here. I bring in Cradily into this Decidueye instead of bringing probably one of the hardest counters to Decidueye in the game, which is Fearow. So now I have to go down resources before my opponent here to actually make something happen, right? So I'm gonna overfarm quite severely here. Decidueye is going to be extremely debuffed, so I can safely bring in Fearow here and kind of get an energy lead. They have to swap out, and they swap out into a Furt. That Decidueye is low enough, I believe, that if I just throw the play rough against this Furt, I should be able to sweep with my Fearow. My opponent probably thinks I want to save my Dedenne for that Gyarados in the back, but that Gyarados doesn't really have any shields, so it doesn't really pose a threat to us. We should be able to get this entire farm down here. I'm just spamming the Drill Peck here. I know that Decidueye has a lot of energy, so I want to get rid of it if I can. We don't one-shot the Gyarados, but we do throw energy before they get their next move. And this Decidueye should have the back-to-back Spirit Shackles here. But I guess they overfarmed trying to get to that Frenzy Plant. It's not going to do much for them, unfortunately, and we do take that game. Fearow is just an insanely good cleanup Pokemon to have in the back. Alright, awful lead in the next match. Cradily is actually a very, very problematic Pokemon for this team. You'll see in the following matches, Cradily Save Swap is also really bad for us. We kind of just play it as like a soft loss, try to neutralize the Cradily. Seeing it in the lead here is really tough too. Thankfully, it looks like my opponent doesn't really have an answer to this. So we're able to stay in here, kind of like, you know, just chip it down slowly. We get severely outpaced, we get severely debuffed before them, but they always have to throw, this is the most important part about this mirror. They always have to throw energy to get rid of us, and they're going to be practically dry, right? So we can bring in Dedenne, we can overfarm by 1 after the move, and that's really, really important to know. Because thanks to that 1 Thunder Shock, you'll see that we can throw 7 in the move here. And if my opponent doesn't throw on alignment, we can actually get to a second Parabolic before they get to their first move. That's really, really awesome. Thankfully, we overfarmed once there. So you'll see that my opponent is going to throw a move here. They're actually going to Shadow Ball, really smart from them. But we still get to a Parabolic against this Crustle. And I don't know if you saw that, but this might be the only Crustle on Earth running Smackdown instead of Fury Cutter in this meta. I was kind of malding about this decision. I thought I was going to lose this game. I guess spoiler alert, we do actually win this game regardless. But Smackdown Crustle, I mean, that is such a crazy pick. There's so many Mud Boys in this meta, and there's like not enough flyers to warrant this decision, so I was really confused. Okay, this is one of my favorite games we played. Typhlosion lead, really, really scary. Unfortunately for my opponent, it's not Shadow Typhlosion, so it doesn't have too much threat, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and disrespect it here and no shield. See what we can do. We actually tanked the Thunder Punch. We're able to chip this Cradily, because once again, remember, Cradily is a very problematic Pokemon for us. We can bring in our own Cradily, and even, you know, we're going to be super debuffed out of this matchup and whatnot, but our Rock Tomb is still going to knock out that Typhlosion, regardless of how many debuffs we take, right? So I'm going to go for the Grass Knot here, because I know that this will knock out, and a Rock Tomb won't, so we guarantee the knockout there. We are 2 away, so we can throw on perfect timing here. Force a Shield. And I noticed if my opponent tries to go for the farm down, I can outpace to the Parabolic and knock out. We still have 2 shields, and there's a Gastrodon in the back. I mean, that's just a GG for my opponent, unfortunately. I think we played this game extremely well. We really danced around with our energy. We danced around with our Pokemon. To be fair, my opponent did make a pretty severe misplay, Thunder punching the Dedenne on the lead. But I guess that's like a 50-50, right? We either call it or we don't. You try to get an advantage, it doesn't work out. But yeah, we take that game. On to the next match, we get a Ferret lead. This is a little bit tricky, right? Because we do resist the sucker punches, but these Swifts put in work. I am confused that they are staying in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to farm up to the back-to-back parabolics and then knock out this Ferret. Okay, they actually bring a Crustle. We instantly pivot just to save the Dedenne, and I guess it was a little bit of a mistake because we bring in Cradily, but at this point I know, okay, I just need a shield advantage for my Fearow to deal with whatever's in the back. So we do get that shield advantage, even though we kind of sat Cradily here. Once again, it doesn't really matter if we get some advantage out of it, right? So now Fearow comes into the Crustle, we do shield the Rock Wreckers, and at this point I'm thinking, okay, I think I need a catch to win this game, because this Crustle did get a lot of energy out of my Cradily, right? So we farm, oh my god. I think we actually got a CMP Sack Swap here. Yeah, we did. So this is like super best case scenario. They actually shield their Crustle to get rid of the Dedenne. Yeah, I don't know. I think this is just game over. I mean, there's a Gelatin in the back. They have absolutely no fast move pressure. They need to get to 2 serves before we get to 2 drill picks, and that's just never gonna happen, right? They actually need to get to 3 serves before we get to 2 drill picks. So that's a GG to my opponent there. I think that CMP Sack Swap, it wasn't really necessary. We would have still won that game, but yeah, GG there. Okay, this game, as you can see, my Dedenne is acting a little bit weird. If you want to, rewind the video a little bit, we actually lag a turn there. For some reason, somehow, we lag a turn, and I wanted to showcase this game because of that turn lag, we actually have to throw on bad timing. We get outpaced here. And I mean, this game is just crumbling down because of that mistake, right? Which wasn't our mistake. Our opponent actually Shadow Balls our Fearow, which is absolutely atrocious. And there's an Azumarill in the back. And we should have never ever been low on resources against this Azumarill, because we should have gotten a resource advantage against that Skeleturge. So very tragic for us. I try for a catch there because I really don't have any other choice. I can bring in Cradily here and tank 2 Ice Beams because I feel like Fearow has more play in the back. But I mean, to be fair, there really is not much play here. Fearow did have more play in the back, but down shields, or well, at shield parity, right? There's not going to be much play for us here. Very unfortunate that that happened to us. I don't know, man. I really don't know what else to say about that one. Once again, I did want to showcase it because this was one of the few wins we had. We actually went 20-5 yesterday. So we only had 5 losses the whole day. And this being one of them, really disheartening, not gonna lie. I try to cap tie there, but my opponent smartly over farms because they really don't have to cap tie. And yeah, they just one-shot us with the Thunder. And that's a GG. I'm playing this out to the bitter end. Maybe if I debuff them with Rock Tomb. But yeah, it's not going to work out for us. On to the next match. Hopefully we don't like a turn on entry here. And we see a Togedemaru lead. This lead was actually so hilarious on stream. I cannot believe Dedenne did this to this tiny little rat Pokemon. So you'll see, this thing has Fell Stinger and Wild Charge. We wall the moveset completely. They wall our moveset too, but we have defense buff and they have defense debuff, right? So I have a feeling they're just gonna shield this now that they landed the second Wild Charge, but I'm thinking, yo, I'm still very healthy. They throw a Fell Stinger here and it doesn't knock out. We have the Parabolic. We win the 1-0 shield scenario against Togedemaru. They bring in Dunsparce, and I have to say, winning switch advantage was absolutely everything. So we did play the lead kind of risky, but man, we really needed switch advantage here. I throw the Grass Knot here just to guarantee that 1 Drill Run should knock out this Toxapex. And I want to come out a little bit chipped from this matchup so we can totally take a Brine here. I don't want to give a lot of farm to that Dunsparce because we are going to have to concede farm whether we like it or not. So we get to the back-to-back drill runs. That should knock out. We get to one drill peck here, which my opponent should shield because it's the most damaging move left, but we still get to another, unfortunately for them, right before they get the farm down there. So just landing this move, I mean, it's basically GG. I still don't have to shield anything. I'm going to save my shields for the next match. Hopefully I can use them there. But yeah, we just get to the grass knot. It does a little more raw damage than the rock tomb, and that's a GG to my opponent. Very awesome stuff there. Maple Bacon HD. Okay. Araquanid. We actually love this Pokemon, especially in the lead. We have play against it in the back as well. I make a little bit of a misplay here. I know one Rock Tomb doesn't knock out Turtonator, but the chip from a Parabolic Charge should be enough to put it into Rock Tomb range, so I shouldn't have play rough there. A bit of a misplay, but nothing crazy. We tank the Dragon Claw. I know this Turtonator doesn't have to shield. They want to get this farm with Araquanid, but again, I threw that early to save some HP so I could get to the Rock Tomb against that Araquanid. They no shield, and honestly that's great for me. I'm a little bit scared of a ground type in the back, so I don't want to position my Fearow here. This Araquanid is just throwing bubble beams, and after the second one I'm like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna pivot into Fearow. And they have a Crustle. Thankfully though, this Crustle's actually running Fury Cutter like they're supposed to. To be fair, if they were running Rock Smash or whatever it's called, I think we still get both shields, and then we can Parabolic with the DEDENNE, but it would have been a lot trickier for sure. GG's to my opponent there though. Double Bug is a little tricky to run. Okay, Talonflame lead. This is a little bit of a tricky lead. We have another answer with Cradily in the back, but I'm guessing this opponent is going to start going for flame charges. You could tell with them throwing on alignment there. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's play this battle of attrition. They bring in Cradily. I bank a Parabolic for later if I need it. And of course, we are going to soft lose this matchup. They get the debuff first. So that's a little bit tragic. But once again, I mean, Cradily is probably the biggest problem for this team. So if we can get to neutralize it with our own Cradily, I think we're in an amazing spot. So I'm just going to overfarm quite a bit here, kind of bait my opponent into thinking they can get the farm down, which once again, they never can, right? Yeah, my opponent is forced to throw. I believe maybe I can get a peck down with my Fearow here. Okay, no, we're just going to bring in the DEDENNE, farm up a little close to the back-to-back Parabolics. And that Talonflame should still be 2 away from a move. So we can throw 2 and the Parabolic, force a shield, bring in Fearow. Hopefully we can clean up. Okay, I guess we can actually force energy here too. Sorry, we had a lot of different games, but yeah, we force energy there. Talonflame is 2 away from a move, which is exactly the pacing for a Drill Peck. So even if I come out completely dry out of this matchup, we can still win this game because we cap tie to the Drill Peck and Fearow wins cap tie over Talonflame any day of the week. So it is a Sumeru in the back, a little bit of a scary Pokemon, but we do outpace to the 3 Drill Pecks actually on the cap tie. So if we had actually brought in the Fearow into this Talonflame, we would have had a lot of a more difficult time. So forcing that energy against that DEDENNE was definitely the win con for us to actually take this game. On to the next game here against Chrissy K 2016, and we get an amazing lead with a Poliwrath. They swap in Oranguru, and honestly this Pokemon is a little tricky to deal with. The new pacing for Confusion, Trailblaze is a little bit scary. I'm gonna shield the first because they are boosted now, so I just want to bring him back down to neutral. I'll tank the second neutral Trailblaze, and hopefully I can get to back-to-back moves before throwing, but that's a little bit of a misplay by me. Once again, not being super used to the new Confusion counts. We get this Oranguru low, but it's not great. I'm going to get an energy lead with Fearow here since we lost swap. If they want to bring in their Poliwrath, be my guess, which they do. This is really, really scary, right? There must be something in the back that is scared of my Fearow, so I try to save it, and it's a Dugong. Trainer, I feel like just having Poliwrath against the DEDENNE would have been fine if you kept Dugong against my Fearow, dude. So a little bit tricky for my opponent there. At this point, I'm thinking, okay, you know what? I know this is probably just going to be an icy win bait, but I do want to keep some health on me. I want to boost my defense before taking a move. This drill run shouldn't knock out. We can bank this. We actually predict the combo play from the Poliwrath, and they undercharge, but they undercharge a little too much. And unfortunately for them, we can actually get to the drill peck from the energy we had before, and this parabolic we had banked, we can actually just knock out the Dugong here. So GG's to my opponent there. A very good play with the undercharge, but it was just a little too much, and I don't think the energy they would have gotten from that would have helped them too much. All right, Jellicent lead in the next game, which is really good for us. We really don't need switch advantage here. I would rather get a farm down, but a farm down would still be tricky for my Pokemon in the back to deal with. But either way, I was feeling frisky. You know what? I'm going to call the Power Whip bait, and we actually get the bait call right. At this point, my Fearow has done its job. I really don't have to shield. So GG, thank you, Fearow. Oh, hold on. They just double baited the Fearow. That is so bad. My opponent, I mean, if they want switch, they're gonna have to go down 2 shields, which they do. Their Ferrothorn has 1 HP. I'm gonna tank this move with Jellicent. I feel like Jellicent's a little tankier, of course. So we get a 2 acid lead. We could throw 7 in the move here, get this Grass Knot off, swap into the DEDENNE just to try and bait out a Mud Slapper if there is. I don't want my Cradily to be super low. And there is a ground type, so good thing we pivoted back in, because if we basically sacked our Cradily or wasted resources on Cradily that early, I think this Diggersby could have swept our backline. So I think we did a really good job there. My opponent mistakenly captized us onto the second play rough. So this Diggersby, I mean, we really only needed to land 1 to put it into Grass Knot range, but landing 2, that's totally fine by me too. We throw this energy right away against this Jellicent. I don't want to have to shield another Surf. And at this point, it's just a fast move battle, but we should be able to get to the Grass Knot a little bit closer than it should have been there. But I did have to keep some HP on me and the shield. So GG's to my opponent there. All right, we get another amazing lead with Gyarados. They swap in Cradily, and once again, I mean, this is a little tragic since we are going to lose this matchup, so we won't have switch advantage against that Gyarados. But this is totally fine. I feel like Fearow can deal with Gyarados at a decent pace regardless. My opponent must be pretty happy right now knowing that, oh my god, I'm going to save my Gyarados, I'm going to put it somewhere else. But you'll see. We make some really funny, really tricky plays that my opponent can't really deal with very well. They actually swap in for it. They give up switch advantage. Trainer, you have switch advantage. You are going to get it. I guess they thought Cradily had a lot more play in the back, but I mean, they're so low on health that does it really matter? I can bring in DEDENNE here. I don't really want to be tanking Sucker Punches and shielding Swifts with my Fearow. So we're going to tank the first move with DEDENNE. We should be able to farm this thing all the way down, I believe. So let's try for that. Now that we're defense boosted, this should just be a neutral Trailblaze once again. We predict the combo play with Cradily. Ironically, Cradily doesn't even throw energy. They will have to regardless because we're double defense boosted. But now that they shielded their Cradily, I think Fearow is set up to sweep. We get the perfect farm down here because Cradily didn't overfarm as much as he could have. We know that Fur is practically dry on energy. We can get to the double drill peck here pretty easily. I do have to be careful of a catch, so I'm just going to throw right away. I know one turn users, they don't like catching instantly because it's a little bit scary. And at this point, yeah, they just can never get to the amount of moves they need to knock us out. Once again, Fearow cleaning up in the back like crazy. Terrible lead in the next match, but we have 2 answers to Gastrodon, and this game is such a tragic game. If you ever play Cradily into Fortress, you know that you just have to land 1 Rock Tomb or 1 Sand Tomb, and you'll be able to get the full farm down after tanking 2 Rock Tombs, correct? For some reason, my opponent got a little bit greedy here. They thought they could fully undercharge a Rock Tomb after being double debuffed and get the farm down. But our extremely high rank Cradily, we can actually get to a 3rd Rock Tomb, force a shield advantage, and unfortunately for my opponent, that is literally all we need to win this game. Just this little energy advantage on our Fearow. They have a Charizard, a Shadow Charizard in the back, down shields. Oh, I feel so bad for this Pokemon. Your trainer failed you. I am so sorry, buddy. We know that they're gonna throw the Air Cutters instantly here for some reason. So we can throw 3 in the move, just guarantee to knock out this Charizard, still have a shield for the Gastrodon in the back. And yeah, that's just going to be a good game for my opponent here. They're really not going to be able to do much against us here. And even though they can knock us out with a Water Pulse or a Body Slam or something, we force energy out here because we get to the Play Rough. They actually have Earth Power. So even with a Body Slam, we're just going to be able to take this game still. Really crazy misplay by my opponent there. I really don't know why they got so greedy, especially when they have such hard alignment against our team. I feel like you just take what you can get there, but I guess GG's. Oranguru lead in the next match. We do resist Brutal Swing. We can buff up our defense. They can just keep buffing up their attack though with Trailblaze, so it's a very neutral matchup here. We should be able to win the zeros though. The next Parabolic should be pretty close to knocking out, so I have a feeling my opponent's gonna try to shield and farm down here. Let's see what they want to do. Yeah, that's definitely what they want to do. I was hoping I could survive a Brutal Swing here. Unfortunately, that is not the case. But we can bring in Cradily. We are going to lose a lot of our HP, but I mean, as long as we can get rid of this Oranguru and have a little bit of an energy advantage for the backline, maybe we can debuff something. I feel like we should be all right. I know this looks a little tragic already, but remember Fearow. Please, always remember Fearow. Fearow is just the GOAT of this team. Let's see what we can do here. They bring in Fortress. I know this is always going to be a Sand Tomb, but I have to shield, right? It's too risky. Honestly, if we didn't shield that Sand Tomb, we might have been in trouble just because it does marginally more damage. And you can see our health is already so low. So good thing we did shield. This is just a Swift, but we have to shield. We bank the Drill Peck, and I know my win con is that I have to get to another move with Cradily. If I get to another move with Cradily, I force a shield, I have the Drill Peck, we win Cap Tie, and we win the game. And that's exactly what we do. So really quick thinking by me there. I was really proud I did that because usually I don't think that fast. But just knowing that if I bank a move on Fearow, and that's what's one of the best things about Fearow, just knowing if you bank a move in the back, you can always throw it later. Almost guaranteed, right? You can almost always win Cap Tie against anything. My opponent in this match, we lead into a Jellicent, really positively. They swap into a Fortress, which isn't a counter to us. And this Fortress is running Volt Switch. And I'm like, trainer, I mean, I can tank Sand Tombs for days. I don't really mind. I can actually farm this Fortress all the way down now and have 2 Parabolics ready for the backline. I'm going to bank 1 Parabolic just because I know, I mean, my Jellicent still has play into the rest of this Pokemon. I mean, into the rest of this trainer's team. So we can bring in Cradily here. You can Trailblaze. That's totally fine, buddy. We're just going to keep Rock Tombing you, bring you back into neutral damage here, and I still don't have to shield the next move. I will watch for a catch here. I don't want to throw a Rock Tomb into the Jellicent if I can Grass Knot it. My opponent stays in. They want to keep their boost alive. So we're just going to throw the Rock Tomb, and now that we have a 2 shield advantage, once again, Fearow just cooking in the back line. I didn't really expect this team to be so oppressive in terms of getting shields for my Fearow to sweep. But man, is it good at that. Just having a defense buffing Pokemon, it just really helps for you to be able to tank moves and make your opponent shield before you. Trick Elite in the next game, our backline is really weak to this Pokemon, especially up shields. They actually wouldn't Cap Tie here, so I'm surprised they let me throw first. They are staying in though, so I'm going to stay in as well. Keep playing to the Cap Ties here. They do play to the second one, so that's how we know they win it. And now that I'm buffed, I don't really want to shield this. I think I'll get to a 3rd Parabolic regardless and force their energy. And I want to keep a shield for my Fearow on the back line. As you can see, my opponent's staying in this matchup really weird. They are completely dry here, so I think I'm going to get a farm down with Fearow. And they bring in a Dragon Breath Charizard. I predict that they're going to throw on alignment just to force my shield first. So we actually get a free peck there. And we're able to overfarm severely. I don't know if there's a way back for my opponent here. What do they have in the back line? They're already double weak to Dedenne, and they're triple weak to Dedenne. They have a freaking Kingdra back there. Are you serious? Kingdra is just not the Mon. We actually unintentionally catch a Swift here. I guess my opponent was a little desperate to get that move off. And I know at this point, I just want to I want to be really low on HP before I knock out this Empoleon. because I don't want to give that Kingdra enough farm to get to a Swift against my Fearow. So they just get one Dragon Breath here. I'm one away from the move, so we outpace. But man, this trainer's team just triple weak to Dedenne. I guess people are really not respecting this Pokemon. Okay, this trainer definitely is, which I believe is exactly what I said on stream. This trainer actually has a Unova Stunfisk on the lead, which basically core breaks the shit out of our team pretty bad. They bring in Golisopod though, and I'm thinking, okay, you know what? I think at this point, I want to shield the first and debuff, because I know that thanks to that debuff, I can survive the second and get both shields down. So that's really important information to know against this matchup. Having Acid in this matchup is also really good. So yeah, it's definitely not a terrible matchup for Cradily. We can tank 2 Aqua Jets here and practically farm this Golisopod all the way down, have a bunch of energy for the backline. I'm going to throw a Play Rough into this Ufisk just to put it into Drill Run range, right? This is very important because I don't think I can get to 2 Drill Runs with my Fearow, right? They're going to outpace to 2 discharges, so I have to put it into Drill Run range. They actually bring a Jump Bluff, and at this point I'm like, okay, that's game over. But that looked like a Captai, right? And that's definitely not an Acrobatics. I think this is the new garbage Aerial Ace. And yeah, I think my opponent, I mean, unless they have Energy Ball, if they have Acrobatics, they threw this game on the spot, right? Because now I can overfarm, play to the Captai again, and outpace this Ufisk to the Drill Run, and that's a GG. GG to my opponent. That is the last battle. As you guys can see here, we're claiming the 5-0 to get 2406, and that does put us right back at the top 300 in the world, thankfully. So yeah, I know this was a little bit of a long video once again. I hope you guys do like these long format videos. It's really just like 5 or 7 minutes longer than the usual, but yeah, let's get on to the question of the day and shout out our socials like we always do. So here we go. What's the Pokemon you think got strongest out of the season update? I'm sure you guys can tell by now, but I think Fearow is a complete menace. There's a lot of Pokemon that got buffed, like Charjabug, for example, as you saw in yesterday's video. The Volt Switch buff didn't really do much for Charjabug. There's not really a lot of fast move pressure that you use with that Pokemon. It's mostly the energy generation. But still, it's a decent buff to get. The most important buff, though, was definitely Peck this season. I mean, Togekiss getting that Peck buff, Fearow getting that Peck buff, even Malamar and Dartrix getting those Peck buffs. I mean, it's just been amazing. So I definitely think Fearow is up there. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you thought of the video. I would appreciate any feedback. All of that is welcome. Once again, we got our socials up there. We got Instagram. You can follow me on Twitter, TikTok. I stream on Twitch every single weekday. So no more weekends for me. Maybe here and there at night. Just keep an eye out on the Discord. If you do want to join the Discord, there's a link below. And I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye-bye.